It's another beautiful day, and I am glad to welcome you to the program Across Borders, where we explore the intricacies of migration. Just as you know, we look at stories of those who dare to move and those who embrace the unknown. Today, we are focusing on the experiences of returnees and reintegrating into their home countries. I believe that through insightful discussions, we will uncover its extent on individuals, society, and the economy. My name is Grace Komolafe. Join us as we engage our guests for today in order to enrich our understanding on this dynamic human journey. Just right after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Across Borders, where we speak to issues relating to migration and as it impacts various spheres of life. Our topic for today is rebuilding returnees in migration and resettlement homes. And of course, to do so, we have a guest in the house. She is the founder of the Web of Hearts Foundation, a non-for-profit making, non-governmental organization with a deep passion for the rehabilitation, reintegration and resettlement of returnees, migrants and internally displaced persons, IDPs, vulnerable youth and indigent communities, otherwise referred to as persons of concerns, POC, in Nigeria. I think this foundation was established in 2010. She is known as Bose Aggrey, an English graduate with over 10 years of experience in people's management, guidance, counseling, entrepreneurship, and skill developments. Pleased to meet you, madam.
Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I think we've been on this for quite a while, and finally you are here.
Interestingly, and I'm happy to be here.
So welcome. All right, so we want to look at rebuilding returnees in migration and resettlement home. We'll talk about these things, and for me, I would like you to shed more light on what exactly this is speaking to.
Well, like you know, people do migrate, and like they say, migration is a right of every human being. You can decide to move wherever you wish to. And we have Nigerians who have moved from Nigeria to other countries, and for reasons of, irregular travels, undocumented travels, they've been asked to return or they have been forcefully returned into the country. So we do have voluntary and involuntary returnees in the country, and my organization is into helping them to get properly resettled back into the country in various aspects of their needs.
Okay, so when you say you help them to properly resettle, what's the process? How is it structured to start with?
Upon return, we do have what we call return, readmission, and reintegration, which is the RRR. Upon return, we take them either from the airport or through other maybe land borders, NAPTIP, which is the agency taking charge of those who have been trafficked, or through the Nigerian Immigration Service, who will hand them over to the lead agency, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, who we all work in partnership with. And then we are now in contact with these returnees. So upon that return, they're given a reception at the airport or at the borders, as the case may be. And then they are taken to where we call a transit camp for now, especially in Lagos. In other states, they may have also transit camps where they're taken to from their point of entry into the country. After which, based on the profiling, they are able to know, are they traffic victims? Are they on forced return? Do they have health challenges? Some do come in with very severe health challenges. They are highly damaged. They have injuries on them. Some are even on a stretcher as they come. Some need an ambulance immediately they arrive. So those are the people that are given urgent attention. The rest of them who are in health are taken to the transit camps, from where other stakeholders like myself or my organization would go in there and take the ones that need our services.
Okay, so we're talking about your services now. What are those services? Let's try and specify, exact.
Okay, the return reception is one of them. that is going to the airport to receive them, or going to wherever they have arrived in to receive them. And then they're taken to our center. We have a Migrants Reintegration Center, which we are managing in collaboration with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. It's at Ibejuleki. And these returnees are taken to that center, which encompasses a shelter for accommodation, and also provisions of vocational entrepreneurial trainings. And our core area of intervention also is in the psychosocial support services. So based on their entry into the center, we warmly welcome them, and thereafter they go through what we call a profiling, a debriefing. So you know, one, their circumstances of return, there's the reasons for which they, migrated. You understand? Some are forced, some are voluntary. Do they have issues? Are they traumatized? Do they have mental health issues? Do they have psychosocial support? Immediate need, that needs urgent attention? Are they highly traumatized? And I tell you that 9 out of 10 of them are mostly traumatized. Wow. Because the return to your country traumatizes you first of all. And then the mere fact that you're now not going back home as you return, you're now coming to a shelter, also could traumatize some of them, because they've been in shelters abroad but doing different things. This shelter they have come to is for restoration. So you need to give them a mindset to know that they are in a safe place, first of all. So we make them very comfortable, they eat, they chat, we chat with them, and then they are now taken into the hostel. So thereafter, the psychologists and all the social workers would engage them the following day or days, to then have what we call a needs assessment done. The needs assessment brings you to a place where you now know, what do they really need? Do they just need to return home? Because some of them say, I don't want to stay here, or I just want to go home. You understand? So you know that, one, they have a home they want to go to. They are willing to go home. So that already... to what extent do they even comply? So that all sorts you out on that person. This other person says, I don't want to go home. I don't want my parents to know I'm back, and I don't want anybody to know I'm in the country. I'm safe here and I'm okay here. Wow. So you know that you are admitting that person to the shelter fully. And we do have a 90 days period within which they can stay freely at the shelter. Okay, so after you have done that, then you know whether they have serious trauma issues. Do they have serious psychosocial issues that need urgent attention? If not, then they'll belong to the general class of psychosocial support services. But when they now need the one-on-one, then the psychology will have to now put them through therapy. So they do it in sessions. So she will have a one-on-one session. In actual fact, I'll tell you, each person does have a one-on-one with our psychologists. So that way you open a file for them. So you know their situation, you know their circumstances, and you know the ways to handle them. Okay. And then of course we do have codes of conduct, which you have they have to abide to within the shelter, because our shelter is a closed shelter. You're not allowed to go out. You cannot receive visitors unless the visitors are profiled, because the traffickers are still looking for some of them. So you must be careful who visits them and for what reason. Okay? You must also be able to check them to make sure that they don't have harmful materials or equipment with them, because some of them are quite suicidal. I'll tell you that 6 at least out of 10, let's not exaggerate the figure. At least 6 out of 10 really want to harm themselves, because they come with a feeling of destitution, a feeling of despondency. Like life has come to an end. Yes. How am I coming back home with nothing? They just come back home with one little prison bag and that's it. And then the mother has been boasting, my child is abroad, she's in Europe and stuff like that. And then you're coming home, there's nothing to show. You rather just want to just end it. So some of them, upon of course, psychosocial assessment and needs assessment, you know whether they're a bit on the brink of suicide, to know how to handle such persons. So that is done extensively, and then you open a file for them, and thereafter you know that they have skills or they don't have skills. If they don't have skills, then that means that you're quickly deploying them into the vocational training skill center, where they will be admitted for whatever vocation that they have propensity for, and of course they want to. So, and after that training, After the vocational training, they automatically do the entrepreneurship training, which prepares them for the business world.
Okay, so thank you. Already you're bringing us close to, talking about making money and all of that. You mentioned earlier that the shelter has a 90-day period where they stay for free. And for a lot of them that just return with nothing, if after 90 days they have nowhere to go, how do they begin to make payments and all of that? Do you expose them to job that they do and make income like almost immediately, or there are processes to all of this?
Yes, of course there are processes. The point is that if you don't have skill and you have gained skill, the essence of your skills training is for you to be able to deploy yourself into some form of employment, either self-employment or paid employment. Yes. So once we know that they want employment, that means that we're now going through the other aspect of job search.
Okay.
So, and then we collaborate with like Ministry of Labor, the Migrant Resource Center, so we could inform them, of these people that have needs for jobs. Yes. And then those who have need for businesses, we have partners like the International Organization for Migration. They partner with us. We partner with them. The commission also partners with us, and a few other stakeholders. So if they have like grants for them or empowerment for them where they're giving funds to start up a business, or they have a business which they can engage them in, then immediately, they are directed there. But, basically, you want to do what he or she, one, is disposed to do. Which is we don't impose, say, you have stayed 90 days, so you are trained, you must go and look for a job, or you must go and do business. At 90 days, some of them are not ready, my darling. Some of them are not ready at 90 days.
Oh.
You understand? Okay. And we cannot send anyone away who is not ready. Yes, this is the rule, that 90 days, but upon again a post-assessment, because you do a post-training assessment, you do a post-reintegration assessment to know, is this person really ready for going back home? Because we'll do family tracing, and then we'll know that the family is ready to receive them. Some families say, don't let that child come back here.
Wow.
You understand? We have somebody who has been in our shelter for 4 years because the parents will not receive her.
Okay, so while you talk about parents receiving them back home or not wanting to, I will also want you to align that with some community integration. How does that work? Of course, a lot of them are having this feeling that, oh, like we said, you mentioned earlier, I came with nothing. How do I go back to begin to mix with friends, families, and how do you help them settle well, in this area as well?
We do have community dialogue and community integration, support services as well. This we go to engage various communities, sensitizing them on receiving returnees back into the society. Like, for instance, the community where we are at Ibejuleki, most of them, they know us. We have programs, town hall programs and, programs within the local government where we sensitize the people on, receiving these returnees, one, without any biases, without any discrimination. Because one of the things that these returnees suffer is stigmatization. Some of them are referred to as prostitutes. Mm-hmm. Some of them are referred to as foolish people, some of them are referred to as greedy people.
Greedy people, yeah.
You young girl, what do you want to do with money? You went abroad, yes. And then they don't treat them well. You understand? So the society, the communities have to be purged of discriminatory practices, of stigmatizing these returnees. So that is why we do a good job to, first of all, polish the returnee, so that she's not going back like somebody who is empty. Okay. She's going back with a skill. She's going back possibly even with a viable business. Okay. So when she returns home, she's not returning like a full dependent and valueless. So we try and add value through our own support interventions, okay? And then the community is sensitized to receive them without stigmatization, without discrimination, without harm. Okay. And then the families are the first people to be sensitized. because the returning is returning to his.
I think I agree with you. I think I agree with you because,
Yes.
this idea of parents wanting their kids out there to keep sending in, money, remittances, oh, no, he's abroad, she's abroad, it has to keep coming. And for a period of time, you see that this child has not been able to do anything. And the end of it all, you hear, he's back with one bag or even with nothing. You see some of our parents wanting to, to set themselves apart from such child, not wanting them. So I agree with you quite well. They need to understand that it's not really rosy out there, because a lot of them, they go there and because they didn't go the legal way, the right path, they go through a whole lot. They don't get job instantly, probably it has to do with you are dodging, you don't have papers and all of that. So all of this put together, there is a need to resensitize, to keep sensitizing everybody, starting from the home front, starting from the home. So I also want us to speak to cultural sensitivity. Some people, you know that because they have a different cultural background, they might be finding it difficult, relating with some other persons. And it's, of course, I want to believe the center is a very big place where you have a whole lot of people put together. How are you able to manage all of this? You have the Yorubas, you have the Igbos, you have the Hausas. For me, I believe it doesn't matter who comes in, right? How did you put all of this together?
Like I said, one of our strong points is our psychosocial support services. And during those sessions, they are enabled to interact. In fact, it's almost compulsory, you must interact. Whether you are quiet or not, you must interact. So on a daily basis, somebody is taking a topic to admonish every other. You choose your topic, whatever you want to talk about. And you'll be amazed the kind of topics that, resonates with them. Some are talking about their experiences while they traveled. Some are talking about their vision. Some are talking about some attitudinal change. So different topics they come up with. We censor those topics and then we allow them to go and produce it. And in the evening where we have what we call the fireside chat, okay. So each person would admonish every other person, So it is something they look forward to every day at the shelter. And then we always end it up with music for them to dance, and then we end it up with storytelling. Somebody else will tell another story. So there is fun associated with it. Then we have the seaside exercises where we have like something like a mini beach at the end of where our shelter is. So they go there for their normal daily exercises. And within that exercise, you must engage another person. You understand? So you have interactive sessions where you talk to one another. You have games where you must share with one another and they eat together. You understand? We don't have cooks. They must cook. You understand?
So even you don't know how to cook, you
will learn it. You will learn it while you're there.
Great.
You understand? So you cook together. You understand? So there's a lot of sharing. And the trainings are also done together. And then, of course, when they come, they go through what we call orientation. And our orientation time is you are able to educate them about the diversities of men, about the diversities of cultures. That you are Yoruba doesn't mean that the Igbo person is inferior. You understand? So they have to understand, one, this diversity that is existent within the shelter and within the country, and then, of course, to also give value to every other person that you come across. So once that is done, they are able to branch away. Of course, you always have some tribalism. You understand? But we discourage that. So don't speak your language to the person who speaks your language, unless the person understands. So when you are in public with other people, don't speak your language. If just the two of you are together, you can speak your language. And your friend must not only be the person who is speaking your language. You understand? So, so
that means you speak with other people regardless if you're friends or not.
Yes.
Oh,
so there's social interaction. I will send you to this person because I know you don't want to talk to that person. I will pair you with that person when there's a session because I know you don't want to talk to that person. You understand? And then there are some that they're quite withdrawn. Because of the situations that they've gone through, they almost have an oath of silence. Wow. They don't want to talk to nobody. You will have to prompt, do everything to make them talk. But at the end of the day, we do succeed. If they don't succeed with the psychologists, they will succeed with mama, which is me. You understand, So at some point in time, they must talk and they must say something. And then before you know it, they loosen up and then they begin to interact. And the beautiful one is that one-on-one session that they have among themselves, where they can share your story, teach us something that you think is valuable to you, you know. So it helps them to open up, because it's my turn tomorrow. So if you don't know what to say, you have to talk to somebody else to teach you what to do. You understand?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you've actually said quite a lot, and at this moment we want to go on a short break. If you are just joining us, it's your favorite program, Across Borders, and the topic we're speaking on is rebuilding returnees in migration and resettlement homes. Of course, our guest has been Bose Aggrey. She's also a owner of a foundation. She will be speaking more on this topic, but at the moment, let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Across Borders, and we have been speaking on rebuilding returnees in migration and resettlement center. And our guest has been Bose Aggrey, founder of Web of Heart Foundation. Okay, so I'd like to take you to this part. How did you find yourself in this field? What inspired you to begin to nurture and look out for people that returned from, abroad for one reason or the other?
Well, they say apples don't fall too far from the tree. So I have passion for people. I have passion to relate to people, and people naturally are drawn to me. They want to talk, they want to share, so I have a listening ear, so that endears me to a lot of people. And by my gentle nature, it also affords a lot of people the opportunity to be close to me. So, so that predisposes me to people coming to share their issues with me. So at some point in time, there were quite a number of people who had issues of they migrated and they've returned and they're not able to settle. They're despondent. They've lost all hope that life can ever be restored. So people will refer to me and say, talk to Madam B. She can assist you to get your feet back on. And of course, I did have a relation of mine who was very close to me, who was also deported home after having spent 17 years in America. Okay? And that was because, you keep running around with undocumented, status. And one day, they catch you, and then you are back home. You also haven't spent 17 years abroad, and invested there, and you return back home with one little prison bag. You understand, he went through quite a lot of pain and trauma. And I was the one who had to handle him because he just refused to listen to any other person. So, and that really brought on a lot of, it took its toll on me, yes. But then it also stirred me up that, there's so many people like this out there who don't have nobody to talk to, who don't have nobody to run to, and then God has already made me a solution provider, a listening ear, one who will set at liberty those who are laid captive. That's my mission. So I took that up, and then I decided that I would professionalize it and institutionalize it. And so we registered Web of Hearts Foundation. And we've been doing that since then, So, but in the last few years, the last 7 to 8 years, I concentrated more on migration, especially in terms of reintegration and resettlement of return migrants. Yes.
That's great. So I'm going to ask you, how do you go about your funding? You mentioned earlier, people acquire skills when they return. You check out for what they can do and all of that, and you have them, enroll for trainings and all of that. The trainers, do they do it for free? How do you get funding? How do you carry out all of these activities?
Well, funding is a major challenge. CSO, every civil society organization, has funding as a challenge because you never have enough. Because there are too many people that are in need, especially in our society today. Not just minding that they are returnees, the people who are here, some of them, their conditions are worse than those who have returned. And then we don't also just attend to returnees, we also attend to vulnerable youths. These ones that have the propensity to be trafficked. These ones that have the propensity to travel in an irregular mode. You know, we are also exposed to them. So you need funding at every level of your intervention. Okay? Personally, I'm an entrepreneur. And I do have multiple streams of businesses and multiple streams of income. And because it's something that I'm sworn to do and to succeed in, I deploy most of my resources to doing my work. So that is my first source of funding. I run a fashion business. I run a security company. I have a catering business. You understand? So, you know, it brings in a lot of funds for me. A lot in terms of me as a person, right?
Sacrifice.
You understand? And then I also have a board of directors that are quite amenable to our needs and available also to our needs. So a lot of contribution comes from the BOT, and then I'm also engaged in partnerships with organizations, international organizations and local organizations who assist, you know, at different times. But I'll tell you, for the first maybe 6 years, really, I use my funds, okay? But in the last 2-3 years, we've done a lot that has shown to many people that we are for real, one. Two, that we do have results. You know, if you look into our profiles, you will see how much we've done. You know, I mean, for today, I would say we have catered to over 5,000 of both returnees and vulnerable youths and indigent communities, right? So we do have partners like the IOM, for instance, the Swiss Development Corporation. At some time, they gave us some grant which helped us to refurbish the shelter. And of course, they gave us food supply for 1 whole year at the shelter. That helps quite a lot. Through a tripartite agreement between the National Commission for Refugees, the IOM, and then the Swiss. That helped us a lot. And then, of course, we also went into another partnership with GOPA consultants, who were working in partnership with GIZ, which is a German organization, okay? And then they paid for all of our entrepreneurship trainings in the last 2.5 years. That's you understand? So, so we have, you know, these partnerships. The partnership with National Commission for Refugees, they provide a shelter for us while we manage the shelter in terms of feeding and other sustenance. So there's a bit of support from outside, but a whole lot is still needed.
Okay, well, I hope that it keeps coming, because the idea is for a good cause, you know, so, and we'll be hopeful that more support will continue to come. Let's speak to unsafe migration, because basically why you have returnees is either for one reason they travel the unsafe way, or probably papers got expired, they could not renew, they just couldn't do things the right way, and for one reason or the other, they were apprehended, or they felt, no, we just couldn't get enough of what we are looking for and we have to come back home. You know, to some, they had to send them back home. Unsafe migration, what do you want to say to this?
Is an ill that must die, because it almost has no end result that is dignified. Because if you enter my farm without my permission, you are likely to be either trapped by the traps I put on my farmland. Okay. Most likely, right? And also, if I catch you on my farmland, I could also accuse you of theft. So that's just how unsafe travel is. Because you are either trafficked out, you are smuggled out, and you are going without documents. That means you're violating the migration policies of another sovereignty. So if you're leaving Nigeria and you're going to Europe, and you enter Europe without valid visa, without valid passport, then of course you are already an unsafe traveler. And you are now predisposed to all the unsafety, let's put it that way, there's any word like that, you understand, that accompanies your irregular travel. You know, and it's something that we abhor, because some countries have very stringent rules and deterrence to violators of their migration policies and their migration rules. You understand? Some may just put you in prison and send you back to your country. Some will torture you till almost the person is dead. You understand? So if you don't obey the laws of a country and you want to prove stubborn and you push yourself in there, whatever you say you get. You understand? This is why you see that most of our Nigerians who were going into Europe, they went through Libya. They go through Agadez and then they go into Libya. And then some of them, don't tell anybody, some of them succeed in entering Europe. Okay. But the ones that don't succeed and end up halfway, they don't get to Libya. They are caught halfway in between. Because if it is your unlucky day of moving and your vehicle is intercepted or your means of transportation is intercepted by law enforcement agents, you are in deep trouble.
Okay, so let's, at this moment, let's take the real-time experience so you can speak more concerning unsafe migration. Yes, Tope shared with us her experience while she traveled to Libya, and she also spoke about this Agadez you just mentioned. So let's watch and we'll come back to the rest of the questions. Stay with us. Okay.
2009.
Okay.
I was doing marketing in Keja there. That's when I find somebody who introduced this journey to me, that I have a sister in Germany who can provide a job for you. He has been looking for somebody who is ready to work over there. And then, based on who I am, I'm very hardworking and I really want to help my family. I was so happy to have this, to hear this information. And I told him, how are we making the move? Because what I know about my life, as about migration, is to have your international passport and the necessary documents. When I told this man, he now said, no problem. My sister over there will do everything. Send only your picture and your name. We make all the documents available. From there, after some days, we prepare. We're supposed to move through this the one we know, the airports we know. That is when this boss came around and said, don't worry, you guys are going to move through Kano because there's a delay on your documents. You can't get to Lagos here. So we have to make a move to Kano. Okay, as long as there's no problem, I really want a better life. I accept to make a move down to Kano. When we get to Kano, they move us down to one house, say, okay, we are waiting for the document, for them to bring us documents. Now say, they'll be waiting for this person. They will just go inside, come out, come, telling us that, we don't need to wait again. You have to go to Kano, go to Agadez. When you get to Agadez, you make your final move, they will bring the document there because now we have been waiting for 2 days in Kano. They didn't bring the document, so let's make a move to Agadez. Let's get to Agadez, they will bring it. And
so where is Agadez?
Agadez is in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's another country, it's not Nigerian. Okay, I can't wait because I have a child at home and I have a lot of bill to put on. So me staying in one place, it's like I'm wasting my time. Let's make a move. We moved from Kano down to Ilela down to Ikoni down to Dozo down to Agadez. Those ones, they are still normal bus. I was asking, boss, what's happened? We are not moving. Where's the documents? And I said, don't worry. This document, I don't want you people to be delaying. So let's make a move to wherever the documents meet us. We make a flight. See, this country, but my boyfriend told me that they don't go by road to Germany. Because I do call my people at the back, say, see where they happen. Like, this girl, it's better for you to come back home, but I have some friends with me. They have a serious critical condition, and they are not ready to go back home. And I can't leave these people alone, because we have been coming right from Lagos. We have been working together as a marketer.
So, okay.
So it has not been easy for me to depart from there, even though when I see that this thing is not the way I'm expecting it. I can't leave them.
Okay.
So when we get to Agade, that's when we realize we are passing through air. Wow. We are not going to fly. We are passing through deserts. Wow. Wow. What can we do? I told my friend, she said she can't go back home. But me, I have a lot of things that I can say to go back home. She said she can't go back home. And I love her so much. I have to move with her. Let's go.
Sacrifice.
So moving down to desert, from Agadez down to Saba, it wasn't funny. It wasn't easy at all. We left with 4 vehicles then. We left with Combine down to Duruku.
So what is Combine?
Combine is lorry. It's a big lorry. It's not like Nigerian lorry, like 911. I don't know how we call it in Nigeria, but we call it Combine over there. Okay. It's a very long lorry like that. Okay. So from Agadez to Duruku, we enter a lorry. When we get to Duruku, because that one is big, they have to split us to different motor. That's in-laws. Okay. This in-laws. So we have 4 in-laws. One Combine share to 4 in-laws. Okay, so they split all of you. To 4 in-laws. So on our way going from Agadez, Duruku down to Saba, we lost 2 in-laws. Those in-laws match bomb and they burn to ashes in my presence like this. Me? It's only 2 vehicles that left. We packed. We can't move. We stayed there like 5 days because the pain is too much. We can't see our people dying and then we want to go. Even when those drivers say, let's go, we say we are not going because we have been together, eating together. For the past like 2-3 weeks, inside desert, we have been together. They just go like that. So we will continue moving. We have no choice. When they start with beating, we have to move. So on my way when we get to to Saba, that is when I realized they are selling and buying people. All what my burger did, he locked us inside one place. All what we do here is we hear him making control. I have a girls, I have so like this, I have red, I have yellow, I have this. So what is red, what is yellow? What is... As in, we have a yellow girl, I have a black girl, I have a chocolate. So they're telling them our size, our color, for them to come and pay on us. I now call this man. This is not what you told us. You said you are taking us to Germany. We are here. Did you make any payment? Did you pay him any money? No, they said we are going to pay over there. Oh. So see the building. This is not Germany building. This is not where we are going to. So I started begging the man not to sell us in Saba. So she just please, if you get to that place, we will pay the money because that place is it's not a place where somebody will be ready to stay. They just lock us inside room, no going now. They said we can't go out, police, all those stuff. So from there, this man just pity me, only me. Say, okay, I will move you people down to Tripoli. On our way going to Tripoli, we don't pass through normal road. They have to, with in-laws, so the back of the in-laws, we now lie on each other like this. They will now use blanket to cover us. That's how we get to Tripoli. When we get to Medina, I told that girl that I won't be able to face this anymore. Where is Medina? That's Medina in Tripoli. Medina Gedim. We call it Medina Gedim. It's a big marketplace in Tripoli. Okay. And I told my friend that I won't be able to continue with this because I don't know where they are taking us to next now. See, we have been seeing a lot of things. I don't want to die. She said, but you cannot leave me. How can you leave me now? I follow her to where they sold us. So where they sold us to, that's when things turn around, beating every day, asking us to do some kind of work we don't want to do, and do everything. I'm sure you're out of it already, so don't get emotional, okay? So along the way, I was somewhat stubborn. I fight them a lot. I fight them, they beat me, they naked me nothing less than 1 week. That maybe you don't want to work, you'll be on naked. After some time, a man came there. It's from my own state, and our state. Once you see your state person, we don't look and go. The man now said, how much is my money? How much they want to collect? They told the man now promised them to be paying small. They should just free me to wear clothes. So I want to ask this question. When you say you saw a man that is from your state, are you saying that the people that are there? No, the man came to that place. They are maltreating us. That's this, as in. Did you find out where he came from? No. Okay. He just came from nowhere. So those people maltreating you, are they people from the
Is it Medina you call it?
No, they are my people. They are our Nigerian people. I moved with Nigerian people down from Nigeria here.
Okay.
He's the one that sold me to another Nigerian people over there. So I'm into another tribe entirely. They are not my tribe. But fortunately, somebody from my state came to that house and said, why this girl is like this? Why are you maltreating her? She's a stubborn girl. She's this, she's pastor, she's that. And what happened? They want her to do social work. She doesn't want to work, this and that. And then she never know where she did. She go no say, Naja Maria, we they call him. If I want to die, I rather die. Me, I will do whatever you want to do. That is where the man now say, you will not die. I will pay. As long as you are from my town, I will pay. I'm not asking you to pay me, but just you have to be free from this bondage. If you see me there, my enemy is almost gone.
Okay, so let's speed up. So after then, what next?
So after then, the man now paid my money. I moved down to Medina Garden where I do my stylist work to pay him back small.
So you went with the man. He accommodated you?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was one that accommodated me, get a job for me in Medina Garden. I started doing the work from the house. I go to the shop, from the shop back to the... But with time, after paying the money finish and some other things happening, I can't bear it. I have to move. So I make a plan to cross. That is when my boat capsized.
To cross to where?
I make a mind to cross to Germany. That's to Italy.
Okay.
So after camping, so I camped not less than 1 month. After camping, we said we want to make a move. When we get to the seaside, we still even spent like 3 days in the seaside before the Lampados came. Okay. So after the Lampados arrived, they load us about 100 and something. It's not even up to 30 seconds. They just push us just few minutes like this. The boat started capsizing. A lot of people went for that, but glory be to God, I'm alive today.
How did you make it?
It's not easy.
How did you
easy. It's not easy.
Wow.
When we are talking about Lampados, when Lampados capsized, it's not easy. It's only grace of God that can make somebody to be alive.
Wow.
If you can swim, you swim. If it is the balu, you will hold. Just to take it to save you. I hold the balu. Oh. That's what I rest on. And then
so how long
grace
did it
of
take?
God. You know, we didn't move much.
Okay.
Just for some minutes. It's not much.
So it's not really gone far into the sea.
We still lost nothing less than 10 people.
Wow.
Still that is not that
so
kind of
how were you rescued?
After capsule, we swim outside, swim back outside.
Okay, so
after swimming,
yes.
After right there, police people came and still arrest us back to prison.
So you finally find yourself in prison?
Yes. And I still try to come out from the prison also.
So did you come out?
I paid.
How did you get the money to pay?
Once we are inside prison, there is a connection they make with outside people that do woman business.
Okay.
They will call those people, we have a passenger, are you ready to buy? The way they do us, they will tell us, we have so size of woman, this is size of the woman. That's how those police will still introduce us to them. Some they will snap or send our picture today. So somebody now says they want to buy me. They pay. They came to pick me. When I get there, I beg them, I will pay you. Let me go and walk outside to be paying you. Because I can speak the language a little bit.
So at this point, you already spent how many months or
years? I'm spending up to 2 years.
You have already spent 2 years there.
Yes.
Okay.
So the woman, she's somehow stubborn too. So she pushed me to house help work, where I work like 6 months to pay her back.
Okay.
So from there, I come back. I can't move again. I just have to stay there because I have a child at home. So
how did you return back to Nigeria? Let's wrap up at this point.
My returning back to Nigeria, I returned by highway because after working with sometimes, helping my family with little things I can do, I was kidnapped.
Oh, goodness.
On my kidnapping, I was kidnapped not less than 4 times.
Wow.
I do fight them to escape. Okay,
so just give us the last lap. How did you get back to Nigeria?
So when I was passing through, because I was summer going summer then.
When you say going somewhere, can you make? I mean,
I'm not getting myself
oh,
anymore.
okay,
because
I get
I've
it.
lost,
Mentally.
yes,
You
I've
know,
lost
you're no
a
longer
lot.
balanced.
Yes, I've lost a lot. I don't even have power to work, or maybe I will pay for somebody again.
Okay.
So an Arab man came to me like, Miriam, you don't need to die in this country. We have known you for so many years.
Wow.
There's opportunity now. What opportunity? Say there's some organization. They are taking people back to Nigeria. Sure, you will like to go. I said, man, I would like to go. That is where they introduce IOM to me. And they take my document, they take my information, my passport, and register for my coming back to Nigeria.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Wow. Touchy, but you know, I am glad that you are able to sit with us here in the studio and share the story. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to pick it from. But then I need to ask you, after you return back home, how were you able to put yourself together and move on?
Glory be to God, because I'm alive today. Thanks to IOM. IOM really stood by me, because after the information they told me, I worked seriously close to them. Because I know I have no option. I have nothing again. I have nobody to call on after God and them. So when they returned me, after the information they gave to me, I tried to get close to them. So they assisted me with accommodation that year. We start up business. We are in group, but we start up business. That's how I start with my life again. And when it gets to a stage, I try to voluntarily work for IOM, like campaign against woman trafficking. With my experience, I don't want a lot of women to pass through that. If it is not God, I will not be alive today. A lot of people have went and they are not coming back to this country. So therefore, I come outside to tell people about my story. I don't want a lot of women to fall into this victim. I don't want parents to be expecting their children that they will not see them again in life. It's happened. I wish I managed go like that. I won't come back to this country. My family may not hear from me again. So it's happened to a lot of people. So therefore, I'm here to tell people migrate rights. Migration is our right. We have right to migrate to anywhere, but we should do it right. We should try to get the right information. Nothing hard in this visa of a thing to me now, because I come to realize it. Nothing is hard there. So it's better for us to follow the right way.
All right. Thank you very much, Temitope Mariam. It's a pleasure having you speak to this topic, gender and migration. Oh, well, that's it. I mean, the story is quite touchy, if you ask me. And I don't think I want to pray that anybody will go through all of this she went through, you know. Even in her own very eyes, 2 buses exploded, stepped on bombs and exploded. In her very own eyes, I mean, I don't know. Is it that there is no proper relationship between Libya and Nigerian government? Because I think this is about the 3rd time we'll be having a real-time story talking about the experience with, you know, from moving from Nigeria to Libya, and the experience they got, the way people from that area related to them, the way they handle them, the things they do to them, the torture they got. I think I want to start from that angle before I bring it back home, because from that story you see that even Nigerians are the major ones perpetrating this act. They are the key ones luring these people into this move. But let's talk about bilateral relationship. Is it that it's not good enough? Or, I mean, what do you have to say to it?
I'll give you the example of when you violate and you make wrong entry into somebody's farm. Same thing. You know, everybody have the sanctity that they want to protect within their sovereignty. Libya is a country that has its own sovereign laws. They have their migration policies. So if you as a Nigerian, whether you have bilateral agreements with them or not, you go and violate their migration laws. Nigeria has one migration laws. If you violate it, you expose yourself to punitive measures. They may not be as gruesome as the ones that Nigerians go through in Libya. Of course, the experiences of our Libyan returnees is something that it makes you cry.
Really, honestly.
You know, it brings torture even to your soul just to listen to some of them and the experiences that they go through just transiting from Nigeria, going through Agadez and finally landing in Libya.
The most touching part for me that is more of concern for me is having Nigerians, doing all of these things. She mentioned that the people that sold her are Nigerians and somebody from her tribe saw her. She's a Nigerian, Someone from her tribe saw her and decided to pay for her. That don't worry, then she'll work and pay back. How did we find ourselves at this point?
Well, Libya is a North African country that has been through war, that has been through a lot of hiccups in terms of governance. After the exit of Gaddafi, Libya was exposed to a lot of insecurity. There was a lot of protection compromised. The militia grew day by day because arms were now in the open streets. So there was a lot of militia activities, subgroups and subgroups and subgroups. So of course, protection of even you as a migrant or non-migrant was an issue. So you go into a country that is unstable, who is suffering from political instability, who is also having economic issues. So you leave your Nigeria with your own issues, you go into a country that is not properly stable. You are open to any ills that you find there. So I know that the UN, the EU, they're all trying in their different ways to see how there can be a more cordial approach to migration. So that is why things like the Global Compact on Migration, the GFMD, were instituted, so that they can have a global, good picture of migration. Let's put it that way, okay? Where there is what they call the safe, orderly, and regular migration, which is one of the SDG 2030 goals. You understand? That if you must travel, you must be safe, you must travel in an orderly manner, and you must travel in a regular manner. So whether you and I have agreement or not, it doesn't mean that you should come to my farmland and desecrate it. You understand? So if these people are going through borders and entering into Libya, because Libya is an easy route into Europe. It's not as if Libya is just there and is there for... It is because it is an easy route into Europe. And they have porous borders.
So speaking about borders, what do you think government should do concerning our borders? Not just that of Libya, even our borders. When you see people moving in a particular manner, intelligence individuals that are in that department, the military ones should be able to question them, should know that, no, this movement is not proper enough. I mean, what should government do in this aspect to make it more better?
They are manned by government officials. They are manned by the customs, yes, the immigration, the NDLEA. These are the people at the borders. The police, they are at the borders. You understand?
So
to what extent? That's what we're saying. Our borders are, if our borders are not porous, how are our citizens moving from Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, and moving into Agadez and then moving into Libya? How is this so easy for this movement? It is because our officials who are manning those borders are highly compromised. Because, smugglers and traffickers, they have a lot of resources at their disposal. So they will spend as much money to engage in slave trade. And slave trade developed more after Gaddafi's exit in Libya. So those who are interested in human trade and slave trade is a good route for them. And if our borders are not properly manned, human beings are sold on a daily basis. The Nigerian man who has no conscience, because if you have a conscience, you will not sell a human being like yourself.
You even
But
deceitfully kick them out of their place of work.
people are greedy. People are drawn by their situations. You know, we have what we call the push and the pull factors. You know, what is pulling you out? What is pushing you out? What is pushing a lot of our people out is much. So it is not enough to say the government needs to look at these push factors. Poverty is pushing people out. Health challenges are pushing people out. Unemployment is pushing people out. Insecurities, these insurgencies, Boko Haram is pushing people out. They say it's better let me go and die there. Because if you succeed, you may not die. So if what you are going through here is like death, some of them want to take the risk and say, let me go. I may not die. And then they try it. Some of them die. And a lot of them too get across and get into Libya. And some of them get into Europe. So if you see the story of Iyabose, whose daughter has entered Europe and succeeded. She's building houses, she's buying cars, she's paying school fees, she's making huge remittances. And you know that this exchange rate now that we have today is even an encourager. Because now, if your child sends you $50, what have you got already? You understand? You already have 50,000. Joke. So this the exchange rate is not discouraging it. The remittances, which naturally should be for national development and growth, because many countries are growing, and developing through even remittances, which form a good portion of external revenue that comes in internally. You understand? Yes. But then, if it is at the cost of our citizens being dehumanized, being sold into slavery, being tortured to death, dying in the Mediterranean Sea in large numbers, committing suicide, going into prostitutions, very undignified work, then we really need to look again. And that is why most of us who are in the civil society, we are campaigning for good governance. We are campaigning for close borders with close monitoring. We are campaigning for feedbacks that will show what is going on and what needs to be done. The borders need to have, one, tighter security. I agree. Recently, there have been a few measures on tightening security at the borders. But this slave trade is still going on. And it's Nigerians by Nigerians. Oh, Igbo man cannot just come and traffic you easily.
That's it.
It is this Nigerian man that will convince you that this thing is good. Come and go for it. And then you go.
That's
So the push factors need to be addressed.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so I mean, you've said a lot. If we want to keep up, we'll keep going and going. But I think I'm just going to take few more questions while we wrap up for today. Now, I want to speak to, you've talked about the relationship, within Nigeria and these countries. But I want to ask, is it not possible that there be an agreement whereby when these people come in, yes, they've come in through an unsafe route, you get them, you get their information, begin to put them in one, establishment or the other, those that needs to go through training, probably because they are not skilled or something. The government take attendance, take record of these people, takes their information and begin to monitor. Okay, you've come, you don't have papers. If you have those that you feel they can do what is right and quickly get their papers, you put them through, right? Those that need to learn skills, let them learn. Those that have something that could help them get a good job, you put them through it. And this information returns back to the government of where, the country where these people are coming from. Is it not possible to have this kind of relationship and agreement so the torture can be reduced? Because for me, the most annoying, the most painful part is the torture, the trouble they go through.
Yes, the Nigerian government actually needs to brace up and begin to look into the relationships that they have with some of these countries that are not, treating Nigerians well, that are discriminatory, that are racial, and of course that, treat Nigerians with very undignified, measures. You understand? That needs to be looked into, But then, you see, you cannot force a country to accede to your own demands. Okay. So there has to be a balancing up. And I think that the regular thing to do is to begin to encourage to do more sensitization for regular migration within the country, so that our citizens are not faced with having, how am I going to negotiate with you that somebody has come to violate your policies, you understand, and I'm asking you to show the person mercy. Am I showing the person mercy in my own country? You understand? So even those who come to seek refugee status and all of that, we have to make sure that they're not a threat to our nationality.
Okay, so let's quickly look at the means to get the proper information for people to be able to travel safe, to travel right. What platforms, how do they get all of this information?
Yes, like I told you, that the National Commission of Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, NCFRMI, they are a lead agency in terms of migration management in Nigeria here. So, and they've done a marvelous job of bringing all MDAs, stakeholders, partners, CSOs, who are all working in the migration space to come together to begin to look at how collectively we can address all these migration issues. You understand? So because, like they say, migration cannot exist in isolation. So, and in the Global Forum for Migration and the Global Compact for Migration, it is saying that all of society and all of government approach is what migration needs for migration to now be, what we can call safe, orderly, and regular. So if all these MDAs and all these CS, if we all come together, you do your job as customs and ensure that illegal substances are not brought into the country. The police does and make sure that this is right. The NIS make sure that people have passports before they can enter this country and all of that, you understand. The Ministry of Health is there to ensure that, people who are migrating are not bringing in diseases into the country. The last time somebody brought Ebola and Nigeria, you understand. So, if all of this society and all of government come together in collaboration, then of course we will reduce the crisis of irregular migration. That is number one. Number two is that those of us who are in the civil society organization who are now predisposed to the grassroots level, we must engage in communal efforts, communal services, communal dialogue, so that people are sensitized about regular pathway to migrate. You understand? Then if you look at Ministry of Labor, for instance, if you go to Ministry of Labor now, they have what they call NELEX if you need employment. They have the Migrant Resource Center. If you need to travel out now, you can go there and get, I want to go to Germany. I want to go as a nanny. I want to go as a dancer. I want to go as in academia. All of these are spelled out. So you know the conditions that you need. You need a passport, you need this, you need this, you need that. This is how much you need to travel. All that information is at their disposal. So all we are saying is that the agencies should also come out and sensitize the public about what is available to them through them. You understand? So if there is general info as to how I can travel, and I can travel without being trafficked, I can travel without being smuggled, you understand? A lot of people will accede to it. But because, again, migration laws in some countries are very stringent. So when they look at, the difficulty of entering, like the need of passing through the, you understand? So now they rather just pay your way through. This narrative has to stop. That I can pay my way through. It's not everything can pay your way through. You understand? So this pay your way through rough borders and porous borders, it ends up in turmoil. And that is discouraged. And that is what this very year, one of the goals that the CSOs have in our network is campaigning against irregular travel and advocating for safe, orderly, and regular migration.
Wow. Thank you very much. I must say we appreciate you. It's a handful of information. I want to believe that you're watching, you've been able to put all of this together, and you'll be able to also disseminate, share with your people, because you never can tell. Your next neighbor might be thinking of migrating through the unsafe route, and you have all of the information now. Thank you so much for coming, and I want you would be able to answer us. Thank you so much. Yes, across borders, we want to call it a day, but I'd like to remind you that it's okay for you to find out the right information before you make any move. moving through the unsafe route, it's discouraged. Even on this table, we want to say that we don't encourage it at all. Of course, and of course, we want to say that even in your country, Nigeria, you can do well. You can look